The Panos Skordi Encounter.
Hey, welcome to the Panos Skordi Encounter. Today we're here with Fatima, who is a junior studying actuarial science. And Fatima's working on the project. She's still working on the project with me and is one of my classes, in fact. And she made it sound so interesting that we decided to actually do a podcast. She's interested in a holistic approach to the healthcare industry. So welcome here, Fatima.
Thank you, Dr. Panos.
Fatima, can you tell me a little bit about your ideas of how you can bring a holistic approach to health insurance?
Yes, I think that bringing a holistic approach, especially in the medical field, is something that everyone can benefit from, especially when there are people that can't afford health insurance, especially when it's extremely high, when they have a lot of medical expenses to pay, such as their prescription medicine. So using holistic approaches like eating healthy foods or whole plant-based diets, it has a lot to do with how we feel inside, and honestly repair our immune system and repair it for the diseases that we can prevent or that we have ourselves.
Right. So how do you think, how can you go about implementing this? Do you think you need to get in touch with the health insurance providers? Do you think you need to get in touch with, not get in touch with, but be convinced, like potential patients? Which end of the spectrum do you think you need to deal with to convince about this and to tell them about the benefits of it, that holistic healthcare can actually help?
I think it goes both ways in convincing both sides. I do think that it's going to be a bigger challenge having insurance creating incentives that they can use to motivate people to and encourage a healthier lifestyle, especially because the idea is still new, it's still fresh. How are we going to convince insurance companies to want to take this healthy road and profit from it?
And also the patients. I know there's some people that are really into healthy living, but there's other people that kind of don't believe in it. So you may have an issue trying to get in touch with those people. And maybe it could be insurance products set up for people that are like-minded. Like, I agree with you that it's good to eat healthy, even though I don't. But I think it's a good idea. Also, when we've discussed this before, I think your approach is to look at not just trying to resolve issues that patients may have, but also and insureds, I should say, or insured stroke patients should have, but also to stop them getting sick. So it's a preventative. There's a preventative aspect to it as well, right? So there's a preventative aspect and a cure aspect as well.
Yeah, I just truly believe that food is medicine, and it's not just with food. There's herbs, there's oils, there's just so many simplistic ingredients in the world that can offer us a lot of healing. And I think that as long as people are educated and informed, that we have a whole abundance of tools that we can use other than using expensive medical surgeries and expensive diets. They can adopt for something that's within anyone's budget, and they can research what they like and what they want to use.
Right, and it's interesting you say that. I was just thinking right now that every so often there's a phase, a fad, where a fashion where it's to eat or drink something super healthy. And at one point it was like the acai berry, and the things that they have apparently are only available in some jungle somewhere that in a remote place. And yet, my own personal experience is I had I've used garlic before instead of using antibiotics, which seem to work. Also keep people away from you when you stink like garlic. But I do believe there's holistic items that work. And sometimes the holistic, it's too late for them and you have to take a more drastic approach. You believe that there's an urgency to this as well. You believe that you really have to get this going right now to help as many people as possible.
Yeah, honestly, it's like, why wait? We see all these problems. We see that there's heart disease. We see that there's obesity. All of these are just tied into one big funnel of just one problem, and that's essentially our immune system. And if our immune system if it's impaired, then it's just all going to start dwindling into more problems. So why not just take care of this as soon as we can? And honestly, I was looking through Wisconsin's SNAP benefits to see what is approved in grocery stores. And it's just, I don't think that it's fair for me to have such an abundance of resources when there's still moms and kids getting food with leads and metals and arsenic. So it's just putting that information out there and how we can benefit from it.
And so maybe more efficient labeling of food products might go out there as well. But there's a lot of food products, they don't have any labeling. If you buy vegetables, they have no labeling on them. I was just thinking about that as you're talking right now. If you just pick up a lettuce or something, there's no labeling on it. So you don't know what pesticides were used in that. You don't know what sort of soil it was grown in. So I think, I don't know, but I would imagine that these things may have an impact on the quality of the food and how healthy it really is. But maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. So I definitely believe it's an area that requires a lot of research. And I do think it's a very valuable area because if you can bring a holistic approach to healthcare, hopefully it's going to be very, very beneficial. When I talk to the old timers, they tell me cures for things and the things they do when they get a cold. There's one of the things when they get a cold is they get eucalyptus leaves and put them in hot water and they hold their feet over them. You have to be careful not to burn yourself. And apparently your feet absorbing steam from eucalyptus water is very beneficial to get you over a cold, your feet. So, and they swear by these things. There's some other ones that sound quite bad. I won't even say them here, about how to get rid of an ear infection, which is kind of a little bit gross, but
I'm a little interested.
Yeah, I'll tell you afterwards. I don't think I want to put that out. So it's kind of gross. When I heard it, I didn't know if it was a joke or not, but apparently it was true. So is there anything else that you would like to say to other people that may be interested in this?
Yes, I do want to say, when I first learned about, organic, I made fun of my aunt for being a health nut. And when I started doing grocery shopping, I would just take way too long shopping for food items. And now I know what food items I want to buy and just get the hassle of determining which item tastes better. Now I look for which item is better, is healthier. And just when you do a little bit of research and knowledge of food, it's amazing how many other opportunities you'll see in your life that you want to change too. So it's something that I really encourage.
What other sort of opportunities do you think people may like to change after they make a change, perhaps with their food, that they go for organic? What other things may come from that?
For me, it was a sense of faith. I had a greater faith. And I also started to just value myself more. So I made sure that I loved myself, that, I wanted to pray. I wanted to take care of my family. I didn't want to feed them any more junk. It doesn't just affect you, it halos around everything else that you care about. So it's like a butterfly effect.
Hopefully your family is on board with you with this idea, and they're getting the health benefits from it as well. The only other thing that I'd add is that there's been a lot of news articles about organic food, and that even with organic food, I think you have to be aware that what organic actually means, because I think there may be more than one interpretation, and organic food may still have some form of pesticides on it in some cases. So I think it's good to look into that as well.
Yes, organic, non-GMO, MSG, I think is a big one, but that's especially important, like you said, to make sure that you are aware of the labels.
Right. When there's labels on the food, because sometimes, like especially on fruit, there isn't. It's interesting. I haven't thought about this thing until we're having this conversation. I'm just thinking you can actually buy a lettuce and it's got no labeling on it. You just take it, put it in a bag. So you don't know much about it. And I hadn't really thought about it. It's just a lettuce, right? But perhaps not. I don't know what soil it was grown in. I don't know what pesticides were used on it. I don't know what water was used on it. And I don't even know how much of a difference that would make. So I definitely believe it's a very vast field, and it's great that you're actually doing research. I look forward to looking to your final report. And is there anything else you'd like to add before we close?
I just would like to say thank you for the opportunity, and I really am grateful that I found something that is worth a value and something that can be easily shared with everyone, and thank you.
That's great. It's great that you want to you have a sense of urgency for this. It's great that you actually want to bring it to a bigger audience, and it's great that it's a low cost way. There's
super efficient.
Yeah, I mean, some of the organic stuff is expensive, but even if you're eating healthy and it's not organic, that may be the start. It may be a start rather than not doing anything about it at all. And the issue is that a lot of the fast food is very competitively priced. But I have noticed that even you can walk into some big burger places and they actually do have a salad on the menu as well. So I've actually bought salads from those people as well. So I think people try to do their bit. I hope that you get this gap comes off the ground, and you actually do something big in this. I do think it's a good from a marketing perspective. I think it's great. From a health perspective, I think it's great. And for a student young like yourself to come up with this idea, I think is fantastic. So good luck with it.
Thank you, Dr. Panos.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Fatima. So I'd like to thank the audience for joining us here on the Panos Skordi Encounter. Take care wherever you are.